Hello, this is Deb Helfrich, #Redheaded She-Hulk. This is my introductory video to my new BFF, Erin Alexander. And I should be a little bit more put together. But this is precisely why I think we might have an interesting time collaborating. My meditation tells me so. And the real world is that I've been using Joe Dispenza's book for a midlife metamorphosis that really needs a stand-up philosopher one-woman show performance to explain. I've had a midlife metamorphosis that I've engineered through philosophy. I'm a degreed philosopher, the founder of #Wellbeing Philosophy. I've discovered how to morph from being a polar bear to a giraffe after turning 50. I just lost 150 pounds in the 15 months after turning 50. And I've got this last phase of optimization to go through. I need a patron, but more than that, like, Erin, would you be my Play-Doh? If I'm 2021, she's Socrates. And we are going to focus on the pivot between philosophy and physiology and philosophy. We both, I'm certain, understand the circuitry of this. And I'm just an outlier. How do I present all this, right? I'm in jeopardy of becoming homeless, and I need a tribe. I need a place to belong. I need a guest room, and I need to contribute to some projects that create money to solve this problem. But the reason I don't have any money is because I've lived a life without love. And I got to a certain point, and again, there's so many intricacies to this, but I had a mold exposure, and it gave me adult onset neurocomplexity. And so I am failing spectacularly to meet the needs of that broken, poisonous, toxic financial system and civilization. And in inventing a new way and in becoming this beacon of midlife, complete and utter body change and mental change, that I'm very willing. I mean, I have tried to gain a platform, build an audience without succumbing to the evil FB empire. I'm just coherent. And so every time I try to do something, there ends up being something like, I just can't. Zook is not all here. What's going on up here? I don't know. I'm not interested in seeing billionaires as celebrities. But there's no heart in anywhere in the FB empire. The platform. And so I can't, in good conscience, want to go there and invest my life force. In rejecting FB and being, a serious introvert and a highly sensitive person and a philosophical thinker who refused to get on Facebook, I spent the last decade alone. And I did so relatively easily until we've got this COVID situation where nobody has time to become new friends with somebody who really needs a pretty intense lightning bolt of friendship. That's what I'm asking you for. I'm asking you to see me as a human who needs help, who's just finally realized that every time I've asked for help over the past 3 years, what the internet has done, where it's created everyone thinks they're their own thought leader, everyone's creating their own content, everyone's building their own audiences. When I ask for help, I get advice. If I'm lucky, most of the time I get pointed to posts, and it's all we do is tell people to read all this up from people who are creating posts for marketing, not for profundity. That's why I failed. I'm on LinkedIn because I'm a world evolver. And that's how I'm going to pay back the investment of the time, money, energy. But I got life force right now. This trance of stream of consciousness. I get high on building these little vignettes with perfect strangers, really, who I've well researched on the internet, and by well researched, I mean assessed with an open heart whether I can be vulnerable. Now, this is open-ended to you. What can you offer a stranger in dire need? What do you need to feel comfortable to introduce me to a few people? Again, I live in the Seattle area, and the linear mind would say, well, can you, suggest that Aubrey talk to me so that I can answer whatever his deepest, darkest question is, because I have a theory of everything that computes. My midlife metamorphosis into a giraffe from a polar bear is both physical representation of my big white body now becoming very much more tall and angular and become a giraffe. I'm really fearless. I'm very zen and quite about seeing the future and reporting back. But I'm also very fearless. Now, for a female, I got a nice, real muscularity going on in this forearm. And then what happens? There's 50 pounds that needs to get lost. It's very fascinating how when you're really doing weight loss through, and here's one of the products, again, 150 pounds, through evolutionary logic. I didn't follow any diet or exercise, none of this current stuff. I used philosophy and evolutionary logic. And so what women need to understand is this sort of we don't want to talk about, but this is how the body identifies with the part, the weight that's ready to go, the fat that can be burned. And as it's going away, it becomes what we've taped cellulite, and then we try to fix that. But actually, it's a real, I can't wait to live to see these arms. And it is terrifying to me that I have tried to earn money on the internet with exhaustive amounts of energy, failed. I want to learn what it feels like to live in the lean body that I woke up at 50, at 333 pounds, with a mold dysfunction that took away my walking and talking. Here's one of the nuggets of my deep well-being philosophy about human potential and re-hypothesizing human health, because the biochemistry stuff doesn't compute with the energy stuff. And as soon as we change energy to bioelectricity, and we keep using, I like to hypothesize, I like to hyphenate as I hypothesize, but bio-electricity is the philosophical hypothesis that says energy medicine in all the ancient traditions, the chakras, the meridians, Ayurveda, yoga, Tai Chi, to bring in the physiology, is you've got to work on the mind-body circuit. But we've gotten so clear, and we've got quantum physics now, that while it is the truth that the bioelectricity, and it's a circuit, a plus and minus, the math of life is 1 + 1 = 3. Everything that's broken in our world in chaos is down to the math of stuff, counting. 1 + 1 = 2. 1 + 1 = 3. This is, again, a part of my well-being philosophy. And the math of life and evolutionary logic are the two key, which has a 1/3, basic principles that can save humanity from extincting in the next 30 years. You take a broad look at all of the trending. Our species does not have long left. Our species. So here I am, somebody willing to talk about Homo sapiens extinction with solutions, having demonstrated my own physical capacity, and in the economic climate of the US of hypocrisy, I'm about to become homeless. I'm asking you to see me as somebody with 50 more years of work. I'm asking you to potentially take me on as a sort of collaborative client to create some content, if you're interested, in physiological plasticity. My lived experiences say that neuroplasticity cannot happen in the vacuum of physiological stuckness, tenseness, out of postural alignment. That's improper biomechanics is crucial. Having your bandwidth of your spine being plumb, having all of your electrical circuits talking, from your pinky toes to your, can you wink? So here's some of these things we can talk about, both philosophically. We can do some interesting content about mind and body. But look, you should have the ability to do really mimic side by side, and I don't think many of us can. And I got really, I'm playing with it there, but I simply, I have to really use my fingers to go, in order to wink your eye, when you do it naturally, you really use this. This doesn't work. Fascinating, right? And what I found in going from 150 pounds of where's my center of balance? What does my body need to do right now? Because there's a great deal of growth that has to happen when you evaporate how many inches, right? And it's, again, seeing there's some real definition of muscularity, and then there's the fat that's ready to go. Here's the deal. I'm in real jeopardy because I've sort of evolved into always seeing that everything is a both and plus. And I've experienced you communicating in this way and enjoying others who communicate in this way. And when you're both and plussing, like this is all relevant, and I don't know which parts because you're not responding, doing these video talks, and we all now listen to podcasts and all these kind of things. The monologue version of me is demonstrating an optimal stream of consciousness, where I go back and forth between, oh, here's my 50-year future, but oh, here's like, I don't know how to be alive in 50 days. Whether or not I meet any of society's judgments, achievements, I don't deserve to die. And I will die as I'm becoming homeless, because part of the interesting thing about how I made all this happen is hibernation. I know how to make endogenous DMT, melatonin and metabolites and pineal glands. So I'm able to synthesize quite quickly in Matrix this whole, the world from February 2020 prior has literally went extinct in my mind. Okay, this all failed. Now, I can go forward and see new ways and new things to do. And I realize we're heading 18 minutes. And I don't think this will be one that you get to see until a while. But what a fascinating documentary. I need a patron. In essence, somewhere in the community that you've built, there's a lot of people who would find it fascinating that there's a human like me who's ended up entirely alone. I mean, I don't have anyone to turn to for anything, not even to buy me a cup of coffee right now. To do a documentary about how I become the world's original well-being philosopher, how you helped me make this body like fierce at 52. You don't think there's like Oprah? I'm not down with Oprah all that much, in the sense of well, the way everyone thinks about it. I would like to have a really deep conversation with Oprah about living in large bodies and the changes and the backs and the forths, and how we could partner to help women not have to deal with this need to insulate to protect themselves. Big things, right? That's when I bring up Oprah, it's less about becoming a celebrity, and it's more about her utter capacity to be impactful on the future of humanity, right? And again, I would love to just right now just get a job with Joe Dispenza, just contribute to what he's doing in the world while I get stable. Perhaps again, you and I like to do some Zooms where we move. I can't believe that I've done this with my body in order to become homeless and not be able to use this body. This body belongs in my ability to show even how it's not optimal. Let's find out how to bring this to the world. It's I need this wise, trusted sort of mentor, and I like the model Socrates and Plato. Now you may not, but it will be a fun project. I am certain. Aaron Alexander. This has been Deb Helfrich. Lovely to meet you. Forget about the tip of the iceberg. This just been the seagull trip to pointing out. We're going to talk about this particular iceberg of me and my life. I was in touch for the first 17 years of my life. I need you to help me, because in losing this weight, it's like I've been through a second adolescence. But then I'm locked in the back cave by myself for COVID. Like I couldn't take in other people's movements earlier in my life. And now that I've got the capacity, I have no visual stimulus really. In real life, I've been using the internet and doing some dance videos a little bit. But I really need more of the spontaneousness of movement, not the choreography. So this is something about sports performance, about TED Talks, right? My failure to make a living at the internet, all these kinds of things. The complexity of these talks is I'm constantly getting feedback, people just telling me they can't understand me. Go too fast, talk about too many things. I don't make it easy for people. This whole concept now that people don't have any time and do create content at the speed of notifications and such and so forth. You can't use the level of attention span that created that failed civilization to create an evolved world. Hashtag Wellbeing Philosophy is about teaching the skills of clear, anti-racist, life-centric thinking about human potential. Just take well-being, get rid of illness completely, and then how do we become optimal stewards of planet Earth? That's what I was born to do. And it has been terrorizing. It's been horrific to not be able to find a single person, the brain power, the body optimization to stick with me, to see how I'm constantly building these monologues, Socratic monologues, talk about human potential and the human condition and being an outlier and how that changes the hypotheses of how we think about diet and exercise. I didn't change what I ate at all. I lost 150 pounds with the bottom of my food pyramid being brown bag kettle potato chips. And then salami and Swiss cheese and, only fat, grass-fed cream mixed with raw cacao. And then exercise. If I am a 50-year-old woman and talk to anyone about this, go slow, just walk through. Ecstatic trance danced for 2 hours to live music every Sunday. Right from the very beginning of the journey. I took that 333-pound body and ecstatic trance danced well. I'm a magnetic dancer. This is some of why again, in a world built to stick people in cubicle captivity, and even as that's failing and all that kind of stuff, It's been awesome talking to you. It's been really awesome having even just this concept that we can talk and dive deep and explore how our bodies are the key to the theory of everything. Our bodies explain consciousness really well. And everything that we don't like about ourselves and the things we can't choose, it's all a cultural habituation. And quite a great deal of it happened in those first years when we don't have memories to process to help us move past these things. So I was bottle fed, plastic like formula, no touching, no breasts. Wasn't touched for the first 17 years of my life by my entire community of origin. I made a decision to stop talking in first grade because my ability to communicate was more advanced than all the adults around me. More complex, right? Let's not use terms of judgment, but I'm very philosophical, very matrixed, analytically creative thinker. Most of humanity is not. And when you're a kid, like, they take that shit out. The parents, all I got. I mean, I got great grades. So I could figure out how to dial my energy down into linear cause and effect thinking. But like I never studied. Like everything just seemed like learning seemed to me to be like putting my attention on something and it made sense. And I hadn't put my attention on it previously, so I didn't know it. But as soon as I put my attention there, well, I got it. Theory of everything, consciousness, is the easy problem. And that is an over and out. It's been lovely talking to you, Erin. This has been Deb Helfrich, hashtag Redheaded She-Hulk, hashtag Wellbeing Philosophy on YouTube. Deb Helfrich at Gmail. Please holla.